Do Catholics pray like
on
this?
postcards, in paintings, yes. I am not kidding you. I saw a clip today of a sacrament meeting where the congregation was singing, "This little heart of mine, I'm going to let it shine." And they were swaying and clapping in the chapel during sacrament meeting.
That's kind of happening, like when the church is marketing itself now, or like they won't use the word Mormon or even name Jesus Christ Latter-day Saints thing because they don't want. That's even cultier.
Yeah,
I'm telling
Randy
you,
recently predicted that LDS is going to go away soon.
It is. It's going to be the Church of Jesus Christ.
Did you guys see the pictures that people made of, like, not to get on this topic, and we don't have to, I'm just going to say his name, of like Charlie Kirk and Jesus? They were shaking hands in heaven. And I was like, how'd they know the handshakes? Is he teaching everybody the handshakes now?
Yeah.
That was a Mormon.
Yeah, they're passing out pamphlets with the handshakes you have to know to get into heaven.
Jesus is just all right with me.
Is that a song?
Yeah.
Is it? Who's it by?
It's in Randy's favorite musical.
Oh,
Jesus Christ Superstar.
Whoa, I love that.
Is that what you're talking about?
I don't know. I think it could be just some band from the 60s. I don't know.
I think you're making shit up.
Well, do you guys want to know a secret?
Yeah.
You know, we interview a buttload of people, and anyone in the Mormon landscape, I think we've probably interviewed, or Gene has anyway. But you rank among one of the coolest damn guests, because I freaking love your personality. I love your sense of humor. I was listening to one of your TikToks / Instagrams about how, if you belong to an organization that's the best organization in the world, and people start leaving,
oh yeah,
then they're stupid. Your sarcasm and your sense of humor is ideal. I love it.
Thank you so much. That's such a nice compliment. That's honestly though, like if you've interviewed a lot of people, for you to say that about me, that's like a giant compliment. Thanks.
I'm serious, and I don't issue compliments easily like that.
But, he tells everybody. He told Mother Teresa she was a great lay. Welcome, everyone, to Latter Daily Digest. We honor creators, and we're grateful, we'll say, to have Samantha on. And Samantha, say the name of your TikTok channel.
It's one of my proudest accomplishments. It's Morm with those who mormed.
And that's awesome.
Love the name. And that's without a U. It's MORM.
Yeah, MORM. Yeah.
We have so many of these incredible guests on, and you'll find that Samantha ranks among one of the top that you'll really enjoy. Very entertaining. But for those of you who are watching this, and you'll be many, please hit that like button and remember to subscribe if you haven't. And we want to encourage you to subscribe to Samantha's TikTok channel and Instagram. We'll put those in the link.
Thank you.
And like this video, because that helps us all. And the three of us are so damn cool. Why wouldn't you like it?
I'll share it too. What do you guys put on YouTube?
Yeah, we are just YouTubers.
All right.
So take us back way back in the time machine to the beginning of TikTok. You joined TikTok early on.
No. Okay. So 2022, I joined TikTok, but I didn't really use it. I kind of just made a couple of stupid videos for my kids. And then, so from when I left the church in 2015 till 2022, I did not deal with it at all. And I haven't really made a video I would like to make a video of my whole story in 3 minutes or something, but anyway, this is probably longer. But I left in 2015, and then 2022 comes around. My method was just, I don't want to hear about it anymore. It was kind of like after the exclusion policy, we had already left, but I saw that and I was like, okay, any question I had about leaving is gone now. I don't want to know what they're doing. I don't want to know what they're saying. I don't want to hear words, music, or I don't want to go, of course not go to a Mormon church. I don't want to talk to Mormon people. I don't want to think about church. I just was like, I'm just going to turn my back and never I mean, I had no intention of dealing with it, but I don't think I knew how intentionally I wasn't, you know?
It's like, c'est la vie, bitch. Right?
I don't know. I was shoving a lot down. I mean, I'm not afraid to say I have been diagnosed with PTSD for a lot of reasons, and the church is definitely one. So, you know, you just don't know how to deal with it. Like I had a lot of mental health problems for a very long time. And 2022 is when they kind of all exploded. And then my husband showed me, do you guys know Jack Mormon on TikTok?
I've heard of it.
So I don't know if he's still creating, but my husband showed me a video of his stuff was all humor, like all humor. That's it, about ex-Mormon stuff. And I don't remember what the first video was, but I hadn't heard anything about the church in so long, let alone like such a funny inside joke that I was like, oh, this I can do. Like I can get back into like thinking about it if it's from a humor skewering point of view. You know what I mean?
Humor therapy.
Yeah, and I had no intention of doing more. I just was like, I'm gonna watch all these. They were so funny. If you go back, he does a lot of those ones that's like a picture and like his eyes and a mouth like talking like Mormon God, you know?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So like he never shows his face, but his stuff was so funny. And then I posted a video, I didn't even know there was like an ex-Mormon TikTok presence. Like I didn't even think about it. But my first video was about how do you remember how they would tell us like when you meet an angel, like if you see a spirit, you want to know if it
test.
Yeah.
So that whole thing, every time I tell them ex-Mormon, they're like, oh yeah. But if you tell a Mormon, you have to like, a non-Mormon, like never, you have to explain in a very weird way because you have to be like, okay, you got to go back. So first question.
That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
How many times does this happen? How often are people seeing spirits and going, oh my God, I don't know if you're good or bad. Like, I got to figure it out. So they even have a system for that. And it's like, you know, what was it? Like if they're a resurrected being, would they shake your hand or no?
Yeah, offer to shake their hand. If they're a resurrected being, they will.
Like, bam.
And a non-resurrected being, a child of Satan, would try to do it, and it would go right through your hand.
Right. So an angel who is not resurrected, he would not shake your hand or offer to because he's not.
Yeah, there's lots of rules around it.
Right.
He would know it would freak you out. Which I know.
Consider it.
Every time I see a spirit in my room and offer to shake their hand, so far no one has done it. So
you had the good angel.
They're all evil. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the bad angel, whatever Satan guy will shake your hand and you'll go through it. So I was just saying like how stupid that was, and I got a lot more people commenting than I thought. So that kind of opened up the floodgates. Where at first most of my stuff was just humor, and then it started to get like more serious as the stuff came out for me. So really, TikTok and Instagram, like, so I just did TikTok until January, I think, of this year. And then it was like, are we going to have TikTok anymore? And I didn't want to lose all my videos. So I started like migrating them over to Instagram.
Oh, yeah.
And I may still do that. Like, I kind of want to repost some of mine because I have a lot of followers that like would have never seen that. But at the same time, I'm very different now. Like some of the stuff I would have said 2 years ago actually I have a really different perspective on it now. But, but yeah, so it kind of just snowballed from there. And then.
And you want to know my riff on the shaking hands thing?
Yeah.
Joseph Smith never said that he shook God or Jesus's hand. So we don't even know if the first vision was even from God and Jesus because Joseph didn't do the test.
That's so true. What would a Mormon say though? What would the Mormon excuse for that be?
Yeah, I don't know. You could just fail. You could tell when it's God and Jesus. You don't do the test on those.
It doesn't apply to God and Jesus. It only applies to angels.
That's apparently not. Let me tell you, if God and Jesus appear to me, I'm shaking their freaking hands.
That's the first thing you're doing. You're like, can I please? Like, you got to do all the temple ones.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, that lighting is great. That lighting really
sometimes
helps.
It burns out. Like, this is what I want, but I guess my charger thing like burns out. So if it burns out, I just have to let it cool off and put it back.
And when you went through the temple, it was all, oh God, hear the words of my mouth.
Yes. What do they do now?
So we don't know what they do now, but when Randy and I went, it was Pele Ale.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So we actually spoke.
Yeah, we were throat cutting and slitting our gullets.
You were.
So I would ask God, were we pronouncing it right? Is it really Pele Ale? Because it sounds like a beer.
Or a soccer player.
Somebody made a beer of that, right? Is there some Mormon brewery or some Utah brewery?
There is. Yeah, they have a pale.
Okay, good.
Pale.
So when I went, it was the naked under a poncho thing. So that was it when you guys went too. But you guys went what, like at 19 to the temple
Pretty close.
So what did you?
I was 19. Yeah.
Like in the moment when you started doing the shit, what did you think?
I had no idea of what to expect. No one ever gave me a heads up. No one ever gave me a warning. And I
promised not to.
I was just thinking, this is some weird shit. This is like,
you did.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I'm like, what? With a big question mark. Because
so to me,
I couldn't tie that into the religion part.
Yes.
Yeah.
For me, I thought it was pretty cool because I had been in
because of the naked part.
I've always wanted to be naked around old people. No. I always
it happened.
I heard about clubs. Like when I was a kid, kids had clubs and you had to do something in order to join the club. And I guess they had heard that from generations, right? So I knew that you had to do stuff to join a club.
Yeah.
But I also knew, like in the 1950s, like high school football teams, they would do initiation that had to do with bending over and a broomstick. Mm-hmm. And as long as that didn't happen in the temple, I was 2 thumbs up.
Well, the temple's great then. Yeah. If you
I thought you were going to say you were waiting for that.
Phew.
That's it. Like when I went through, and I've talked about this a little bit, but when I went through, like I was getting married the next day. So I'm 19. I was getting married the next day. I fully 100% believed the church, every bit of it. And so for me, I wish that I can't say that anymore. I used to say I wish that I would have been like weirded out in the moment, but I was not one of those Mormons who are like, what the fuck is this? I was like, I mean, I didn't like it. Like it felt, there's a bunch of things I now realize that I was feeling under the surface, but in the moment there was no way that my fully believing Mormon self would all of a sudden be like, oh wait, this isn't right. Like this was what it was. This was the temple. So you've heard this a million times before. I just was like, well, I don't get it yet. So, you have to keep going and get it. And like, this is what God wants. I don't understand it. But I mean, and yeah, I didn't want to admit how disappointed I was because I thought the temple was going to be like super beautiful. And maybe I would see an angel and maybe I would, the secret was that aliens are real, or maybe I'd have this like cool name, like something beautiful would happen. And then you get there and it's like this loudspeaker voice that's like, God will not be mocked. And it's very like dark. Like you were saying, nothing that I saw in the temple matched what I liked about the church at the time, but I couldn't compute that. So like, but that was like this scary voice. And then it's a movie. I'm like, the temple
with no popcorn and soda too.
It's a boring movie. It's a cheesy made movie. And it's a movie that's really, we know all of that information. I suppose it told us that Michael helped create the earth and became Adam. Maybe that's something that I learned in that video, but the rest of it, I already knew that. And I think I also was kind of like, oh, the temple, it's a place of God. Like they would have minimal technology. So I just was weirded out by the fact that it was like obviously a mass produced movie. And then, and then it's the handshakes. Like this is the beautiful covenant that I'm making.
Yeah, like the furniture in heaven is just something. Like marble columns and draperies. That's the decor in heaven.
That was weird too. So like not only the handshakes where I was like, why is this what God wants? Like, why is this what we're doing here? But in my memory, and please correct me if I'm wrong, I've been to multiple temples, but doesn't the wall like open up to reveal the veil?
Drapes do.
It's covered
though.
Yeah, it starts out covered.
Okay, that was weird to me. Just for some reason, this like reveal of what's essentially a giant garment top.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like drapes that need repair.
With the little things in it, right.
Because they got holes in them.
I think what I resent about the temple, and I'm getting better here, is that when you explain it to somebody who's never Mormon and didn't know about it, they're like, what the fuck? That is weird. Mm-hmm. But I just was so conditioned that this is the most godly thing there is. I think that started my disappointment and disillusionment in the church without me knowing, because it was just a wet blanket. It was like, so the most holy place on earth doesn't feel holy. You can't talk. You can't, everybody's wearing the same thing. You can't say anything. You just do what they tell you to do. I have to obey the covenant of my husband. I have to say this stupid, weird thing through a veil. Like there's a movie. Like none of this is, like I resented that though, that was normal to me. That just became normal. So when I tell people about, oh yeah, oh no, did something happen? Okay. There's a veil and you have to put your hand through like a hole, and there's a guy on the other side, and like you do the handshakes through the veil, and then there's this lady, and then there's like a mat. There's a lot to explain to someone who isn't familiar. But to me, that was just like normal. Like the whole prayer circle was normal. Like why I get mad about it. Because even now I have the hardest thing I have to consider normal or to consider weird is baptisms for the dead. Everybody is so weirded out by it, but I loved them. I liked doing it.
But I think we're conditioned as Mormons to like, if you don't know if you have a question now about something, you'll learn about it in heaven. So don't worry. Everything will be made up.
You know who's not surprised about the temple when they go through are the Masons.
Yeah.
The Masonic order, folks, because it's a carbon frickin' copy.
Yeah. And when I found that out, that freaked me out. Like it's in, rough stone rolling, I'm sure.
Yeah, right.
I was at BYU when I read that, and in there it says something. I remember it said something about the Masonic ceremonies, and I looked it up on the internet, and it was like, if this is the Masonic stuff, Joseph Smith just made it like shorter, but it's like the exact same thing. That was very upsetting to me, and I did what Mormons do, the story that all Mormons tell themselves, which is okay. What happened from Masonry, it came from like ancient times. Like God gave these people like these ancient things, and it got handed down through history in a way that God knew that Joseph would be like Mason adjacent, and so it like handed it down for him to get it and then like pull out the things that were correct from back then and like put them in the temple. I was like
blah blah blah.
The handshakes made it through thousands of years, but just the lessons learned were so different than Masonry, right? But those handshakes.
Well, you know what else weirds me out? I'm sure members and like my sisters, they're all TBM, true believing Mormons. Yeah. What really weirds me out is there's so many Mormons who say, I love to go to the temple. I find such peace and such joy in there. And I'm thinking, what the fuck am I missing? Because I had to go through a certain number of times when I was on my mission every weekend, in the mission training center. But after that, and after I got married, I maybe went through 2 or 3 times because of family stuff.
Yeah. And
then I never went back because it was so long. A session was 3 hours. Now I know they've cut it down.
Why was it 3?
Because you'd have to go from room to room to room. It was a total different ball game.
Salt Lake.
And you'd have to set aside, a long time, between 2 and 3 hours.
Yeah.
And by the time you got dressed and rented your clothing,
like 4.
Anyway, it was so boring. Yeah. I couldn't stand it, and I was tired of standing up and sitting down and standing up and sitting down and tying this. And
yes. It's the most like, why, what does this mean? It's so stupid. And as a woman hearing these are the robes of the Aaronic priesthood. This is the Melchizedek priesthood. So I had to wear these robes that I didn't have the power from them. Like I couldn't do anything from them. Like I just had, so I was like literally covered in like, okay, you got trapped. That's how I felt. That's how I feel it is now. It's like, you told me it was beautiful. You convinced me it was beautiful and good. And then you trapped me by putting me in this situation where of course I wasn't going to bow out right then for a million reasons. You know what I mean?
Did you have to veil your face? Because when we went through it with sisters, veil your faces.
Yeah.
It's like,
they don't do that anymore either.
I think they've done away with the veils now.
Well,
veiling the face.
That's real quality.
And that sacred name that was set aside just for you, because I'm sure God, that's the name God wanted you to have. I find out that it's the same name. Everybody gets the same name on the same day.
I was really disappointed by my name.
Yeah, I was too. Mine was the same as all of my mission buddies who were from Arizona who went through the temple on that day. We all had the same name.
But you didn't tell each other that, right? Or you did?
We didn't at the time,
Oh, yeah. Okay.
but
Do you guys remember what like part of the temple you got the name in? In my memory, you like sit in a little stall and like there's a typewriter and like the lady gives you your name. But I feel like that just might be when you're going through for someone else. Do you get the name when you're like in the initiatory, or do you remember?
Jesus Christ came down and gave me mine.
Wow.
But I don't remember. Gene, do you remember?
Yeah. I mean, that's a good point.
Because they didn't give it to you on paper. You can't have that written down.
Maybe they did it when they were doing the anointing.
I think it might have been then, yeah, with the anointing. And do you guys remember in the ministry thing, was there like a water fountain in the room? Like for them to get the water, was there like a fountain in there?
Wait, to get what water?
Like the
I don't know,
dentist
like when they bless you with oil and water. I have this memory that there was like a water fountain.
Yeah, almost like a dentist in the old days would have right next to you like a spit in it or whatever.
Yeah, like a little bubbler.
Did I miss out on the water? All I remember is the oil. What did they do with the water?
They do the whole thing twice. They do the whole, like all of the things they say and anoint you with. They do it with water first.
The washing is water and the anointing is oil.
Yeah.
Oh man, I forgot all about that.
Well, that's probably better.
Interesting.
And then I thought, because you see that before you go into the endowment ceremony. So right then I thought, oh, well, maybe the secret I'm learning is that women do have the priesthood. And like after that, I would learn more about that. But no, that's not it.
You have the priesthood in so much as your husband has the priesthood.
Right. And I can wear.
You must answer to him.
Yeah. I even justified that like you have to obey your husband as he obeys the word of the Lord or something. I was like, well, he will. So that's a moot point.
and you had to tell him your name, but he couldn't tell you.
Yes. His. Which, by the way, I made a video about that. I don't know if you guys saw that video. And Mormons freaked out because they said that's not true. No, that's not true. That's not doctrine. Even the thing about you needing the name to resurrect your spouse. They all
it's not. There.
Yeah, I know. A lot of my videos, Mormons will come on now and be like, that we never learned that. You were never taught that. If you were, it was somebody who was like going rogue. That's not a belief. You misunderstood. And I always want to be like, okay, there's a million things I could say, but like, if there's this rampant thing happening in the church, there's a whole bunch of people. I literally heard it from the temple president at the Nauvoo temple. He told me that's what it was. I heard that from temple leaders. Anyway, so of course we taught it, but like, they freak out about everything and say like, oh, none of it, whatever. If there's a rampant problem in the church, there's everybody going around saying, oh yeah, the husband has to say the name to resurrect the wife. Why? And it's a problem and it's not real. The church has no problem at General Conference getting up and telling everybody what to do with your life. Why would they not get up and put a kibosh on false doctrine being spread? Why don't they do that?
Right.
I still don't know why they don't do that. I don't know what a Mormon, they would have some stupid reason, but.
So anyway, we kind of went into a deeper dive on the temple experience, right? But you were talking about you remember doing your first video, and do you remember what the response was? Did a few people like it? Did you get a few clicks?
Yeah, I don't remember the numbers. I could go back and look because it's still there, but just people like also other ex-Mormons chiming up that they remembered it.
And you thought you were just going to do like the one, and then then something else came up in your mind later?
I should go back, but for the first while it was fun. It was just funny stuff. Like I was just.
You did 459 TikTok videos at the time that you interviewed with Nathan and Ruth Butler. Was it Ruth?
Yeah.
Yeah. You had done 459 TikTok videos. That's a lot of TikToks. So it's probably more now.
But it is more, but it's been really good for me because like I said, I didn't think about the church back to that for a long time. So strangely stumbling upon ex-Mormon TikTok right when my mental health was like tanking, like lowest, like I actually started to talk about it then. Like I started to find, I didn't have, the only other ex-Mormon I had to talk about was my husband. So I didn't talk to any other ex-Mormon. So all of a sudden, 10 years after I left, there's a community of people who feel the same way as me. And I had no idea. They were out there the whole time. And I had no idea because I didn't want to talk about it. I didn't want to hear about it, even from ex-Mormons. I just didn't want to even hear about it. So it took me 8 years, I think, just to be ready to face those things. And then in therapy, you know, all this, I say like all of my issues, the church overlays all of them, I think, or underlies all of them. Like they might not be, some of them might not be directly connected, but my mind and like how I was wired, like I think you said something like that earlier, like how you just were at the very, core of you was so Mormon structured that I had to like, it's just been a process of like, first you got to kind of push all the bricks out, and then you still have the structure there. And then you have to like figure out like how to get, I want the whole structure down. You know what I mean? But I don't know that that's possible, because there's also these parts theories, and like there's a part of me that I've realized is still Mormon.
So
and
were you getting professional help at the same time you were doing the TikToks?
Yeah.
And did your counselor like suggest it, or notice that you're doing better? And it's like, what are you doing because you seem happier now?
No.
It never came up in your sessions?
No, it comes up. I mean, Mormonism comes up all the time, and I'll sometimes bring up that I make videos, but my progress in that has been like pretty slow. So they totally see it. But yeah, that's just kind of where it became fun for me, where so my degree's in theater. Like I went to BYU, I have a theater degree. So then I had kids so young. I used to write. I did playwriting. I was super into writing all through college. And then I had kids so young, and just all of my creativity just left. Like I didn't have time. I didn't have motivation. I didn't have ideas. So I was left with this big hole, and then the growing hole of not believing the church. And then there's a lot of things going on in my life right then. So it took me a super long time to like I had another point though, and I don't remember what it was, just that the tanking my creativity. So TikTok I started to be able to like get creative, like
give you a
come up
boost
with creative ideas, and like just talk about them, or sometimes write out my ideas ahead of time. Or there's been a couple of videos that I kind of scripted, like the more structured ones, like Mormon dictionary and like Utah spelling bee, like certain things like that I kind of plan ahead of time.
Utah spelling bee for like the names of the places in Utah that are pronounced weird.
Yeah, I just have like a word come up, and then I be the Mormon or the Utah person and how they pronounce it.
Like hurricane, spell hurricane.
Feeling.
Carn on the cob.
I didn't hear that one. Feeling. They put K's at the end of things. Mountain.
Right. Or a hard G, right? I'm feeling good.
Dawn instead of Don. Like I'm from Chicago. That's a whole linguistic thing. I guess it's called the caught merger, where like certain areas left it like that hard O, like mom, Don. And then in Utah, they're like mom, Dawn.
Right.
Anyway, yeah, those I planned a little bit, but mostly I just like have a topic and I start talking about it. And then I just started connecting with.
So do you remember when your first ones kind of went viral and you were like, wow, people are sharing this with people?
No, I don't remember. I do remember on Instagram though. So my following for whatever reason, it took like 23, 24, like 2.5 years to get me to 11,000 on TikTok. And then I started migrating my videos to Instagram in January or something. And I'm up to 12K there in only a few months. So it took off on Instagram. Wow. But the comments and the flack I get are 100 times worse on Instagram. Like I almost got no Mormons in my comments on TikTok, but when I got to Instagram, it was bad. But my big video that like went way more popular than I totally expected, I have it pinned, but it's my I talk about like an analogy between getting like gay married. You know what I'm talking about? Of like I have to. It's one of my pinned ones because it's the only video I've ever had that has like over 1 million views. Like that, David Archuleta commented on it. So that's my claim to fame. But it's about like, you know how Mormons, basically I'm making a point that Mormons,
can we watch it? Is it okay if we watch it?
I don't know how to do that.
I do. Right. Gene does. Okay. So okay, you ready?
Okay.
To watch myself, yeah.
Whoops, sorry.
Drum roll.
You're gay, you're getting married, and you're inviting Mormons. And you say to them, hey, I'm getting gay married, and I'm so excited, and we're so in love, and you're invited. And it's going to be such a gay ceremony, and all of our closest gay friends will be there, and you're invited. We have a little waiting room for all of the non-gay people, so you can wait there during the ceremony, and we will have you watch the kids. But you can come to the reception, which is going to, again, be so gay and so beautiful. Almost everyone will be gay, but you're invited, and we will make sure that someone with some authority in the gay community stands up and explains to you and just reminds everybody how beautiful and gay the ceremony was. There's not much that we can say to you about what does happen in there, but it's going to be so beautiful. Oh, and we're registered at Hot Topic.
That pissed people off.
That's that sarcasm I'm talking about.
Thank you.
Is so hilarious.
That one, that was one of the videos maybe that when I made it, I was like, this one could get popular. Like sometimes I think one's going to get popular and it doesn't. And sometimes I'm like, no, this one will go well. Usually the ones that go well, like get popular, I didn't expect. But that one, because ex-Mormons totally agree. It got a lot of, I got a lot of comments because they missed the point entirely. Because people would be like, what's wrong with having your, they're religious. They deserve to have their ceremony. Like, what's wrong with if I got invited, I would just go. And I'm like, no. You don't understand what I'm saying. I'm not saying that you don't have the right to do your temple wedding. I'm not saying that I'm thinking no one should get invited or whatever. I'm saying that they invite people to the building that they cannot go in to wait outside while they get married, and often to watch the kids. And nobody considers it a problem. Nobody even thinks twice about it. That's just the way it is. So them saying, oh, you're whatever, like I'm like, no, they're just proving you've missed my point entirely, because my whole point is that Mormons don't give a shit when this is easily solved. Because now you don't have to get married in the temple.
Right.
First.
You just have a wedding first.
Yeah. It's totally easily solved, and you could do it.
People can take pictures.
It just goes right over the heads,
It's
and
like
when you
inviting
missed
a group of friends to a restaurant. Your group of friends is going to dinner. Only half of them can come in and eat. The others have to wait outside the restaurant.
And you tell them, come, please come. Like, you're invited to the wedding. Like, we'll be in there. But and then people will say, oh, I would just support them. I would just show up and support them. And I'm like, yeah, I don't, especially if they were gay, I don't think you would. And great. If you want to, fine. I don't care.
You miss saying, hey, and if you're not as gay as you think you used to be, you can always go see your bishop and repent of not being as gay as you used to be.
Well, that's another thing they didn't like, is just that I used gay marriage. You know what I mean? Like, right. as the analogy. But that's one of my favorite things to do, is like analogies. Analogies really help me like process things and see things more objectively. So I like analogies a lot.
Because you're trying to be like Jesus.
That's true. I'm not.
By the way, we can play any of these that you think would fit into our conversation.
Okay, if I think
I'll pull those right up. And I have 4 kids. 2 of them are gay, so I'm big time into the pride and the rights for the gays, and that's one of the things that was set on my shelf to help break it. That and 1,000 other things.
Yeah, right. And I guess I could do my story super quick. I don't think it'll actually take that long. Do you want me to do that?
I'd like to hear it. Sure.
So where did you grow up, and what was it like being a little Samantha Mormon girl and stuff like that?
So I grew up in a suburb of Chicago. Both my parents are converts. My mom's a convert before I was born. My dad, I think my mom made him do like the discussions for a very long time, like until he finally got baptized. So I think she just wore him down. So he got baptized. My brother kind of was a part of it until he was like 12, but he like never bought it, didn't believe it. So all of my mom's Mormon eggs were in my basket. So I was just full hardcore believer. Like, there's things that I didn't find out about the church until I went to Utah for school. But because, it was not a highly Mormon area. I was the only Mormon in my high school. So I identified very much as the Mormon girl,
So were you like Beehive president and Laurel?
The thing is, I wasn't. And I thought it was because, this gets serious, but the church teaches you that anything sexual is just outside of murder. And so me, young believing Mormon girl, I was 14, and again, this is getting a little serious. I can switch from serious to funny in a heartbeat, but I got sexually assaulted when I was 14, and I didn't know at that time. Like, I didn't know until the last few years that, oh shit, like that was, I thought I did it. Like, I absolutely didn't want it. I absolutely did not want what he did. But
your no wasn't strong enough.
we weren't taught no. I made a video about this too, that there can be no, you can't talk about yes or no. You can't talk about consent in purity culture because there can be no consent. There can only be no before marriage, and there can only be yes after marriage. And so if that's what you have in your head, it didn't even occur to me that I could stop what was going on. So from that moment, that's when my depression was born, because I was a good Mormon girl a moment ago. And then after that, I was vile. I was defiled. God had removed his presence from me. So anything like that, where I didn't get like elected, be like president of those things, I thought it was because like God had kind of told them like I wasn't worthy.
You were a licked cupcake.
Yeah.
Right.
Lessons.
And yeah. And isn't it amazing how they gaslight you into, because here's my thing. Every time one of our ward, I grew up in a farm town, Gilbert, Arizona. Every time one of the girls would disappear for 9 months, everybody knew that, you know, she was sent to her grandparents in Utah or something to have a baby. And it would spread all throughout the school who that girl, so-and-so's pregnant. But guess what they never said? They never said who got her pregnant.
Yep.
It was always on the girl.
Good
or if someone was molested, they would want to know, what did the girl do
it's
to entice that guy to molest her?
It's unreal.
And that just, it's just absolutely.
The things that the sexual shame, the sexual dysfunction that the Mormon church causes in people, that's one of the most vile, evil things I think about the Mormon church, because that essentially, I made a video about this too, I think, that essentially it's like, it's like one of your senses. It's like if someone said, okay, like you can see things with your eyes, or let's do here. No, I did smell. In the video I did smell. You have a sense of smell. It is natural. It's something that happens. It's something that has a purpose. But you can't smell until we do a ceremony that like says to you that you can smell.
So God allows you to.
Before that, if you smell anything, you are sinning real bad. And if you liked it, you're sinning really bad. And if you looked for something to smell, that's super bad. And if you like, it's ridiculous. It is a part of you as a human being, as a system.
I smelled every day when I was a Mormon boy.
They cut it off. They cut it off. They mess people up. Like really, ex-Mormons were fucked up people sexually. Like it takes therapy. They do. That's one of the worst things. Like when I have a lot of resentment still about like my mom raising me in the church, to be quite honest. And whenever I start to think, oh, maybe I can soften, I think about that doctrine. And that's when I don't know that I can forgive, because I have 2 kids now, and I literally cannot imagine teaching my kids the things that I was taught about sexuality. You can't even touch your own body when nobody's looking.
I just figured out your problem, Samantha, with Mormons is because you use logic, you're using your brain, and they don't really know how to do that. You have to be more gentle with them.
We were that way too at some point.
Well, and what about the fact that if you do go ahead and smell, the only way you can be forgiven and be with your family forever is to go to a bishop and sit in his office and tell him all about it.
And he's going to ask you questions about what you smelled and what you wanted to smell. And
right. And probably getting off while he's asking, I don't know what happened to the thing about Christ dying for our sins and we're forgiven. We just, have to tell God that we're sorry. No, that doesn't fly in the Mormon church. You've got to talk to a man who's probably just as guilty as the people he's talking to.
With no training. That's like literally one of the only things my mom ever told me about anything. Like the only reference she ever made to anything sexual. I was probably 16, 17. And she said, if there's anything you need to resolve with the bishop, you should. That's another thing as parents. Can you imagine telling your child, suspecting that maybe your child has been doing something sexual and saying, don't talk to me about it. Go talk to this guy, like go in his office and close the door and talk to him about it. You know what I mean? It's just thing after thing after thing that I can't imagine. So
you might have done something bad and I can't tell you what those bad things are. But if you think you might have done something bad, go see the bishop.
We both know
Right.
what we're talking about. Yeah, like that kind of sense. My son is here.
It's laughable. It's not funny, but it's ridiculous.
No, it is. And I guess like still going back into my like whole story as far as the church, like I believed it 100% fully. I was like, I loved church history. I loved Nauvoo because we lived like maybe 3-4 hours away. So I just loved Nauvoo. Yeah, I liked baptisms for the dead. I didn't find them creepy or weird. I, bore my testimony every Sunday, like fast and testimony Sunday there was. I wrote in my journal about stuff, Jesus all the time. I was like taking notes at general conference, like full in, So then I go to BYU and
Samantha, just before you go to BYU, what did you do in high school that prepared you for BYU? Were you in plays? Did you do
theater?
Yeah,
I did theater, and I always danced my whole life too. Like I ended up teaching dance for a long time. So
okay.
I did dance too. And honestly, like my English and writing classes, because in theater, we just did a lot of like analysis of text. So we got to like write a lot about the different things we were seeing and through different lenses. So as far
were
as
you in school plays every single year of high school?
Yeah.
Okay.
But then I got to BYU and everybody was much better than me. So I only tried out for a couple of things. There's a very specific kind of acting they were looking for at the time. And it was something that you have to have been like professionally trained to get to, I think. And so they didn't like what I did. So I kind of honestly, I gave up on that. And then I went to, makeup and costumes and like writing and stuff. I loved it. Like I had the best time. I still did some dance. Like I taught dance. I did some dance performances and stuff. But yeah, academically, I would say that's probably what prepared me. And it's a good school. At least when I was there, it's a good school. That's the only school I wanted to go to. I immediately go into the theater program. And that, I don't think I'd had too many doubts or questions or any really about the church. Like I was just in Mormon Mecca. I was so happy. I had never seen Mormon bookstores. I had never seen billboards for Mormon like movies and TV shows. Like, so I started learning things about Mormon culture.
You can go to a theater and they play shows that don't have swear words.
And very shortly that I didn't like that. Like it did not take me long, honestly, upon getting to BYU to start seaing
you're being shortchanged.
Yeah, a lot of the problems in the church. Like if this is the real church, I didn't feel welcome in Utah. Like I thought I would as someone from like far away. Honestly, what I felt like, and I'm not even a person of color, I just have olive skin and have darker hair. And I felt out of place because everybody was fucking blonde. Everybody was blonde. So it was weird. And then they weren't like, oh, new person, come into my fold. They just had their lives in Utah already, So I didn't feel welcome there. But goal number one is to get married. So that's what I was obsessed with, is getting married.
What year did you meet your husband?
Like a month into my freshman year. So
and by the way, they are a white and delightsome people. So of course they're blonde.
In Utah, yeah. Oh my God, it's so weird how many blonde people there are. We started dating in like September, and then we got married the following August.
Okay.
So we knew each other for like a year before we got married. And then for our parents to be thinking I'm too young, you kind of painted yourself in a corner there, didn't you? Because you raised me Mormon, and over they tell us you have to get married as soon as possible. And then you send me to BYU. Like, what did you expect to happen?
And same with the missionaries. The mission president would drum into our heads, go home, get married, find a wife, get married right away, because they're afraid that we might
You're gonna have sex before.
Smell.
Right? Yeah,
you might smell.
You might smell each other. Yeah. So, but when I got one of the first points to me, I never liked the proclamation on the family for some reason. It always like sat weird with me. And then as I got older and started to have like questions about, like when I was in college, ironically, that's when I learned at BYU about feminism. That's when I learned about gender theory. So I started to have this stuff like, well, if somebody's intersex, then what is their gender? Like, what's that all about? Like, this doesn't make sense to me. But I had never heard that Joseph Smith had more than one wife until I got to BYU. So I was at the library, and this is one of my like defining moments. And I was like in the basement, and they had a display about like early women in the Mormon church. And Eliza Snow was on there, and they were talking about her. And then at the bottom, it said she was one of his plural wives. And I was like
what?
Like
I did not know that. So that was the first, like, okay, why was I not told? You know,
Now,
Yeah, they don't
here's
teach that.
here's what I remember is that Joseph Smith received the revelation on polygamy, but he loved Emma so much that he didn't practice it. It was only when the Mormons got to Utah, where they were away from the United States government,
people
that they
told you that?
started polygamy.
You grew up learning that?
That's what I grew up learning. Now, I probably also heard that some other things, right? But not as graphic or specific as here's how many wives he was sealed to,
Yeah.
and that the church had, 40 years of, Sunday school, adult Sunday school, to teach me that Emma was like the 22nd wife sealed to Joseph. Like that would have been handy knowledge, right?
Yeah.
You had 40 years to teach me.
I had
never
to
heard
read,
anything like that.
and when I got into TikTok too, that's when I started to read like all of the more true Mormon history books. Like Mormon history is objectively fascinating. Like I
Yes.
still can't believe that Hollywood hasn't done like a legit good movie about like Joseph Smith's life, because I think it really is like, the book from Hugh Nibley, Early Mormonism and the Magic Worldview. That one is so
D.
fascinating.
Michael Quinn.
D. Michael Quinn, you're right. Wait, is that him?
Early
Yeah, no, you're right. It's
Mormonism
not Hugh
and the
Nibley.
Magic Worldview.
That one, and like the Fawn Brody one, and I had already read Rough Stone Rolling in high school. There's like
Dan Vogel wrote a good book on Joseph Smith.
Kingdom of Nauvoo was
Kingdom
another
of Nauvoo,
one.
Ben Park.
Yeah, and then there was the one about polygamy that like I went through in Sacred
Todd
Loneliness.
Compton and Sacred Loneliness.
Yeah. So those books I all kind of like consumed right when I got back into TikTok. But yeah, just throughout my college, I hated Utah more and more. I saw the issues with the culture. I started seeing issues with, of course, like the beliefs and blah, blah, blah. But like, it wasn't an option in my head to leave. And so I think my depression got worse because my mindset was, this is true. Like, this is true. And I don't like it. So that makes me sad. Like, I can't change this. This is what church is. This is what God wants. This is the true church. This is what I have to believe and how I have to act. And I don't like it. It doesn't make me happy. It feels wrong.
And you could tell yourself the Utah Mormons aren't doing it right.
I mean, I thought they were. Like, they were
Right.
they were the ones doing it right. Like, they're Utah. Like, that's,
Right.
So over time, yeah, it just became, and even after Utah, even after I moved away, it was just thing after thing after thing that I didn't like. But underneath, I was like, I surrender to the fact that I am going to be unhappy forever, because if Mormonism is true, I hate this.
So you got married
I
and
grew up
stayed at BYU for 4 years.
I got married, and I wanted to finish my degree. I did not want to be a Mormon girl who got married, had a kid right away and didn't finish. Not to shit on them, but I didn't want to do that. I really wanted to finish.
Right.
So we finished our degrees, and we just got out of there as soon as we could. We found a program in Japan to teach English. So we went there for like 9 months to teach English. I got pregnant with my first son there, and then we moved back here because I was afraid to have the baby without my mom, and it didn't help having her there. Honestly, nothing helped that. Birth is not fun, you guys. Birth is real bad.
I believe you.
I'm hoping you were in the room, right? Okay, yeah.
I was in the room 4 times, but
not good.
I was gonna say I had some horrible kidney stones that supposedly that's comparable to childbirth, but I would much rather have the kidney stones because I don't know how you all do it. I also wanted to tell you, Samantha, that it took you so long to learn about Joseph Smith and polygamy and things like that. I didn't know about it all through my mission, all growing up, all through my life until I started my true studies of church history about 5 years ago.
In Mormons online, they'll tell you that that's your problem. If you didn't learn that, that's your fault.
Right. Yeah, but that's what they forgot to teach it to me. And growing up, they forgot to teach me that. Here's what they told me was that Brigham Young had to take additional wives and some of the brethren because of the war. Women were losing their husbands, and so They only took additional wives to care for them.
That is the biggest bullshit one, the caring for them. Because if you read those books, it's one guy having to take care of. How does that help? He doesn't have enough money for that. So these women would be living in a cabin by themselves, relying on their sons to help them, pay for food and to take care of the house and shit. They were not being taken care of by their whatever. Sorry, that
it's just all bullshit. But they conveniently forget to teach you any of these church historical things until the advent of the internet, when
now they can't escape it.
Have to fess up to it a little bit.
Yeah, except for they don't ever fess up. They never, ever, ever have said, like, we apologize, we've done something wrong.
There's no apologies.
No.
Yeah. Did you read the CES letter?
I actually didn't, because do you remember the year it came out?
2013.
I was already like not in. I already was like, I didn't want to read it because it was just going to be triggering. Like, I knew, I don't think anything that he said in there was new to me. Like, I heard some about it, but I still haven't read it, because all it was, I was just like, it's just going to trigger me, because all of these things, I already think that. So I don't know. I don't know why. I just didn't. I was just trying to disengage. I always say my husband and I, the way we left the church, like, I know a lot of people, so it took me basically like 10 years between first outs to finally like last straw walking out. And I think my husband would have left before I did. He was kind of just going for me. So we both left. We're still married. We both left the church, got out before our kids could remember any of it. But I know I'm happy with that, especially because my older son is trans, and I can't imagine raising a trans kid in the church, Isn't
your Facebook page, the banner of your Facebook page, a trans flag?
Yeah.
We are friends on Facebook.
Okay, good.
I said we weren't, but we are.
Yeah, I do. Like, I'm on my local Equity and Inclusion Commission, and I kind of head up the LGBTQ committee, and then I'm on the Disability Committee, and then I just joined the board of a nonprofit that does programming and education and events for people with disabilities and their families. So, and even the volunteer thing, I can tie it back to Mormonism, because I didn't volunteer for shit until the last 2 years, because I was like, I'm not doing anything for free. You're Mormon, you're doing all this shit for free. You're constantly volunteering. I didn't have any time or space to volunteer, but I also was just like, nope, you have to pay me. So the last few years, I finally, for various reasons, been able to finally do it. But it feels good to actually do things that I'm not just told by somebody else, like that's what I'm supposed to get into. You know what I mean? But I don't know.
You're such a sucker, because I got paid for all my church stuff. You got paid, didn't you, Gene? Any positions?
I was promised a big mansion in heaven when I died.
100 virgins or whatever.
You're not getting that anymore. Yeah, when we
Samantha, you sound like an amazing mom, and I just have to hats off to you for being such an understanding and loving mom.
Oh,
if you were still in the church, I can't imagine, the detrimental things that would be said to your kids. It's like me, having my 2 gay kids out of my 4. I support them and love them. Just, it doesn't matter. I don't care what their sexual preference is. Right. They're my kids. I love them.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, so I think with my kids, I wanted to give them the opportunity to figure out who they are on their own, and to think about things on their own and get their own opinion and experiment with who they are and figure it out. Cause I didn't get that opportunity. And I'm so, so glad that my kids do, and that I don't. I mean, I definitely have poisoned them against religion. They both are very against religion, but I'm kind of well, I'm not sorry for that, because it caused me a whole lot of bullshit. And I did apologize to my older son recently, because I was he kind of got into massage therapy, and they're kind of getting into some philosophy kind of woo-woo stuff. And he's liking it. And I said to him the other day, I am sorry. One thing I couldn't teach you was spirituality.
Separate from religion.
All I want, I didn't know it. I'm just now figuring out what that is. I didn't know what spirituality is. And all I knew is how bad religion was. So I just didn't want you to have any part of that, and that's something actually back to TikTok. I have made maybe a few videos about parenting. Obviously I have a lot of strong opinions, but that's something that I haven't shared too much about because I think you can get jumped over a lot, like jumped all on by people. So, and I don't know that I'm prepared for being jumped on with people insulting my parenting. Because when people insult my parenting, I'm like, oh, fuck you so hard. Like, you have no idea what my life has been for the last, you know what I mean? But I also think a lot of what I have to say about it, a lot of women would identify with. So that's something that I'm like, basically, like, I wanted to say this too. When I will go through periods, you'll probably notice that I have like a video a day. I just have like a lot of stuff to say. And then I'll go through periods like right now where I just kind of don't. And I never make myself make a video. Like, I will only ever make a video if I'm like, okay, I got something to say and I'm like ready to say it and I start talking and it comes out well. You know what I mean? But the parenting, I'd like to talk more about that. I do talk a little bit about like LGBTQ issues, but not that much. I kind of want to, because I have a lot of things that I have to say about that I'm also kind of like, ugh, I don't want to get, not that I don't, that's a good point though, Samantha. I kind of don't care if I get shat on by people who are transphobic, like, fuck you. You know what I mean? Yeah. But at the same time, I don't want to come at it with that, because if we want people to learn anything and change their minds, we can't punch them and tell them they're horrible. Like, you have to come up with some kind of different tactic. But that, and like mental health, I have a lot of mental health stuff that I could share, but I'm just not ready to like go super public with all of that, especially because, like, what a downer. Like, I would just be making videos crying. So I don't want to do that.
Well, it sounds like we need to do a chapter 2. And
yeah, I would be happy to. Yeah, we can set, you can DM me or whatever, and we can set up another time.
Yeah. So very cool. Thanks so much, Samantha, for coming on the show.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me.
Everybody go to her channels. We will. Do you make money on Instagram? You said it had a million.
Not. So since I never monetized, but in maybe a few months ago, I just put my Venmo link like in, and since then I have tracked. I think I made like $600 on people just like donating money to me. So
appreciating your work.
It's awesome. It's awesome. And like, it's nowhere near commensurate to the amount of time I spend like editing my videos. But yeah, but people have given me a total of $600, which is unreal. Just strangers on the internet. Like, I'm sending this to you because I love what you do. Like, that's awesome.
I mean, if you think about it, Leonardo da Vinci wouldn't have made a lot of money peddling his art on the street corner. All those artists had to have benefactors, right?
Yeah, yeah.
They had to have kings and
find me one.
Right.
I don't think you should be comparing me to Da Vinci, but if anybody has a benefactor, but then it gets into like sugar daddy stuff, and I don't want to do sugar daddy stuff. I have considered it though. It's for money.
I will. Anybody wants to be my sugar daddy? Go for it.
I'm sure.
Hell, I'll do it.
Takers.
I was a really good kid.
Sugar daddy.
I can still be a good kid for somebody that wants to.
I'm 100% positive that you would get takers for that on the internet. It's a crazy case.
Yeah. So everybody like, share, and subscribe, do the things, and have a great rest of 2025. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Samantha.
Yeah. Let me know. Just message me and we can set up. This was fun.